time we do it, you'll like me a little more. In time, you'll grow to love me, to need me. She hadn't. Not with the men back in Birmingham, and not out here in this flat-roofed house, cowering behind high walls, halfway up some wind-whipped mountain in the middle of nowhere. Instead, she continued to fight. So he'd lost patience after a few days, got rougher, started with the slaps and stuff. Big deal, she'd had worse. Her dad used to touch the tip of a cigarette against her inner thigh. Now that did hurt. Made her legs spring open, that did. But the one who was really nasty, the one who she could tell was pulling the strings, the one who listened to the family's whining reports with a mouth that grew more and more tight with outrage, was the grandma. That face like a giant raisin, maggot holes for eyes, lips like a puckered arsehole. During the days they tried to get her to teach their younger kids English. That was fun, telling the little brown-eyed dickheads that the word for tree was twat, window was wank, spoon was spunk, and grandma, she was cocksucker. When they eventually realised, she was certain it was the grandma who'd said to just finish it. Like the girl was one of their goats, herded into the courtyard at sundown each day. Something to take a knife to, chuck the remains away, burn, maybe. So when the door to the room they kept her in opened and some new man stepped inside, she'd been caught by surprise, especially when he didn't swing a leg back and boot her like the family did. This man stepped closer, while sadly scratching his beard. He'd undone her ropes and spoken to her in English, not blada-blada. Asked if she was all right. On the drive back down, big car, a Mercedes, he'd said to her what a terrible mistake it had all been. She thought he was full of shit, of course. She'd seen the wedge of dirty notes he'd handed over in return for her and her passport. So she'd just bided her time, waiting for his hand to slide onto her knee, the finger to start gently tracing circles. But he never tried a thing. She fell asleep at some point. When she woke, it was dark. He'd driven her to a big town, posh apartment, fridge full of food, proper food, pizza, fish fingers, squeezy yogurts, cupboards with Pringles, Maltesers, baked beans, Heinz, even booze. Nothing decent like vodka, some rank shit, local, but it worked. Then it was the sunglasses, jeans, t-shirts and a pair of Nikes. Makeup, even bras and knickers. Still she waited for the catch. And eventually, it came. She could go back to Britain, no problem. Just one little thing she needed to do for him. Oh yeah, shall I unzip your flies now? But it wasn't that. It was just a belt. Beige, canvas with 2 rows of thick compartments that had been sewn tightly shut. Full of cash, he'd said, to get his brother out of the prison in the big city nearby. A cousin would be waiting on the other side of the border fence. All she had to do was flash her passport at the soldiers. British girl like her, she'd stroll through. The cousin would take the belt off her and then drive her straight to the British embassy. And she'd be free to go home. She thought he was a lying twat, but the way she'd figured it was this. He was giving her back her passport. And he'd said that he, personally, couldn't go too close to the checkpoint, which meant there was no way he could stop her walking up to the first official she could find, holding her passport out, lifting her shirt up and saying she was being used as a mule. Fuck his brother and fuck his cash. So now, here she is. The sun's so hot, stupid hot, and he got me to wear this dumb blue bib over my t-shirt. UNICEF, whatever that means. Sunglasses are okay, Gucci, probably fake. He'd said to keep them on to hide my bruises, but I'd have wanted them anyway. The sand is so bastard bright. The belt's digging under my tits, canvas sticking to my stomach and back. Feels like something was in the Coke he gave me to drink. Not Speed or E, something nice and woozy. Skag, maybe. He said not to worry, he'd be watching from somewhere out of sight. He'd shaken my hand, wished me luck and a happy life. Fucking weirdo. A few of the locals, the women covered from head to toe in those big robes, were being waved